Hey everybody, welcome once again to the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, and tonight we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw from March 13th, 2017. Of course, as always, we have Wrestling Inc.'s own Raj Giri and the main attraction himself, the main event, Matt Morgan. How's it going, man?
I'm doing good. How are you, Glenn? How are you, Raj?
Doing good, man. How about yourself?
Good. Tired, but hanging in there.
Yeah. So what'd you think of tonight's Raw, Matt?
A little all over the place. Some stuff was really good. Some stuff was not bad. I just I would have fast forwarded if I had the choice.
Yeah,
that's
to have
exactly
that
how
option.
I felt.
To have that option while watching live. So tonight's Raw was in Detroit, Michigan, at the Joe Louis Arena. The last Raw to be held there. They're building a new complex that's going to be open by the time WWE's back through Detroit. And we started with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman coming out, cutting a promo, just basically building up the match with Goldberg. What did you make of this, Matt? I mean, I thought Lesnar looked happier. I mean, he was smiling in the ring, the most he has in quite some time.
I'm sure he's having fun. He's working limited dates. What a great gig if you can get it, right? Getting paid out of the yin yang to do so. What's not to be happy about? I don't know. There's only so much they can do. There's only so much build these two can do. And, they're not exactly verbal assassins on the mic, either one of them. Paul has to do all of the legwork, and it gets old to me. It just does. I hate to say it because Brock's a friend and he's a guy I find entertaining usually once the bell sounds, but I gotta be honest, I was kind of bored with it.
Yeah, I felt it more tonight for some reason than other weeks, where I just felt like this is just so redundant with Heyman delivering the promo and Lesnar just standing there, and they've been doing it for years, but I don't know why tonight it just really hit me like it's just been done to death.
Maybe because we're so close to WrestleMania, I don't know. I just expect more.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Lesnar has to say a lot to be effective. We saw it with Heath Slater that one time when he said he doesn't give a shit about his kids. I mean, he can be gold with just a line here or there, but it's just gotten stale otherwise.
Yeah,
that was weird tonight. And this, to me, shows the limitation. If Goldberg, he's our Universal Champ right now, and he's not there. Seems so strange.
Well, yeah, but it's probably for the best because you can't. I mean, how many weeks are you going to do the same thing if they're not getting in the ring?
Why do you? I mean, you don't still think that they have like the title being in this match is better than it being in Jericho versus KO's match, right?
Me?
Yeah.
I do. I actually do.
Yeah.
Just because
it's King Kong versus Godzilla first for the title, or
no, because they're pushing it as the most important match on the show, and I'd hate to see them push the Universal Championship match as an undercard match. So just for that I think it makes Owens and Jericho look almost worse if it's for the title and it's like farther down the card as opposed to the main event.
So isn't that the point? Again, I've been saying this for years. This is what companies don't do. They let the two more established stars that are coming back, the veterans, the big stars, The Rock, guys like that. They let them come in and work that main event over the champion, whoever the championship holder is. And that's been a big no-no of mine from day one. I don't care who has the title. If the janitor has the title, guess what? That's an automatic main event match. He goes on last. I don't care who it is. And if they had just done that, I guess you can't put the genie back in the bottle though, because they don't do that.
Right. And I agree 100%. I mean, if they mix these top guys around, like if it was like Goldberg and Reigns or someone and Lesnar and Strowman, so it's not like the part-timers wrestle part-timers and they're treated like the big stars and those are the big matches. But you mix them with the younger guys and have the younger guys going over, I think that would be great. But they just never do that. And you just have this happen every year.
And whoever the title holder is goes on last.
That's what I agree. That's what it should be.
Yeah, well, only 3 weeks from tonight. Hopefully, we'll see some movement, something different, right? Raw after Mania. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I do think even with Jericho and Owens, though, there is a level of star power that's not quite there for like the last match at WrestleMania.
And that's not their fault. That's writers. That's the perception versus reality thing that WWE has already put out there, that these guys are good, they're important, but they're just not as important as Goldberg versus Brock. And that's their fault for doing that. And if they made it mean more that somebody wins the championship, this wouldn't be an issue. It would be. I don't care what Kevin Owens looks like. He's the Universal Champion. That automatically means he's up there with those guys. But there is none of that. None of us take that as a real perception, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it should be that way, but it's not. And it's their fault for doing that for years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Vince, just at this point, he's like, you know what? That's a future problem for people that aren't me. This could be my last Mania. I'm doing it my way.
He'll be around.
Yeah. But I like that he has that attitude. He doesn't care. He's just doing what works for Vince. So we went from that to setting up this storyline that ran throughout the evening of Stephanie telling Mick he had to fire someone tonight. Speculation online about who it could be, but I think everyone figured out that this was the beginning of the end of Foley leaving Raw as the general manager. And we saw that develop up to that last segment, which we'll talk about in depth later. So want to talk about this match, Sasha Banks versus Dana Brooke. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time Dana's actually wrestled a match in quite some time, right? She's had those little appearances, but this is her first time in the ring in a while.
Yeah.
Now, it was a short match. I mean, Sasha won handily, but we saw from there the storyline they should have done 6 months ago. Dana and Charlotte, the breakup. Are either of you excited to see this story progress a little bit as we head towards Mania and perhaps beyond?
No.
Yeah, because Dana's got her limitations in the ring. She hasn't really gotten better. I like her as a personality, but she's just not there. So, and not really.
She's still.
Maybe she could do something with Emma.
Yeah,
she still overdoes it with her facial and her reactions and her body language. She tipped her hand that she was going to go off on Charlotte about 3 or 4 sentences before she should have. With her. It's weird.
If you're listening to the podcast, everyone, you got to watch the video on YouTube to see the facial expressions Matt Morgan just did.
I'll do it in slow motion. and it's like you're totally. We know what you're gonna do. Like we know she's digging into you, so we're hoping that you're gonna do something in return in retaliation. But she gave it away, and it's because she overacts. She's not reacting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very theatrical. But I think to that end, I mean, so the crowd was chanting for her, which I thought was nice.
Yeah.
I think bad booking will get you some sympathy. It'll help get you over with the smart crowd. So let me ask you this, Matt. So we've talked about before what it's like if you're not on TV each week, or if you're on TV in segments but you're not wrestling. Is it hard to improve your in-ring skills if you're not getting those opportunities on television?
It can be, but that's your job. That's your livelihood. So you better go. I know Dana lives here. She lives in Tampa. There's no reason she can't go down to the facility, or in Orlando. Actually, in Orlando, I believe she lives. There's no reason she can't go down there and work out there in the ring. I used to ask them to purposely fly me back to Louisville, even though I graduated and I was done there and I was on SmackDown full time. I know I needed to get better. I needed more ring time, so I'd go on my 3 days off and I'd stay in Louisville. I wouldn't even see my family, my wife, but I knew I needed to get better, and others do the same thing.
Yeah. Huh. Well, we'll see what happens. Maybe she'll get a little bit of a push now. Maybe something with Emma, if and when Emma comes back. Love that Graves. I mean, we don't even need to talk about the promo, but I love that Graves called it out tonight with again. They're doing this again.
Yeah.
Just lampshading it completely, which was a nice move.
I think they did that last week too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, it's becoming like the Simpsons and the rake gag. It's like doing it twice as funny, doing it 20 times is even funnier. Just keep it going. So after
Family Guy and the Chicken.
Yeah,
right,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, just when it never ends. So after that, we had TJ Perkins and Akira Tozawa versus Brian Kendrick and Tony Nese. Yeah, what's there to say about this? I mean, how did you think this compared, Matt? Specifically, was it just completely overshadowed by what we see later?
I love the way it started. I thought it was different. I thought the heels did a great job of getting steam. Both very aggressive in their heat. But I'm talking about mechanics here. We're supposed to be talking about entertainment here, right? So it was another one of those slided in the show here match for the cruiserweights.
Yeah. It's part of the format.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of crazy, Dennis Farrell, who's been a guest now on the SmackDown edition, he tweeted out a photo from there again of the setup for the Cruiserweight when they were changing the ropes out. For main event, before the show, they did a Cruiserweight match. They changed the ropes back for that opening promo and the Sasha Dana match, and then they changed them again for the Cruiserweights. I mean, it's just, from a production point of view, man, the audience just completely loses steam.
It's not going to keep happening, trust me. When it comes time for them to start cutting corners, which they all, even though they make billions of dollars a year, that will be a corner that gets cut somehow.
It's not just that; it's like how much it limits them on time, because they gotta take all that time before.
Yep.
Put all that crap in.
Yeah, I mean that's more time they could have spent putting over the Jetsons movie. I mean, valuable airtime. Watched all that the other night, by the way. I'm sure Wednesday I'll end up spending some time talking about that, time permitting. Okay, so after that, Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe versus Sami Zayn and Chris Jericho, the match we all said last week that we wanted to see, the tag match. Matt, did it live up to your expectations on paper?
Yeah. This was the one. This is the match that, okay, I'm not fast forwarding. This is the match I'm excited to see. And you knew they were going to crush it, and they did. That was a very good match.
Yeah, I'm surprised this wasn't the main event, but given what the last segment was, I understand why they didn't save it.
Yeah, and again, Jericho, I thought, I feel like he should be more angry with Owens. Like he just feels he's kind of like smiling, and after he was just viciously attacked. You've been building this angle for a while, and they did go at it when they were finally in the ring, but. Other than that, I just feel like there's a level of intensity that's missing on Jericho's side that should be there. But you could tell Jericho really wants to put Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens over, and he's being the fall guy for him. So I thought that was great.
Yep.
A lot of DQs tonight. So Zayn and Jericho won that match by DQ. Of course, we had some other matches that ended the same way. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's just to sort of preserve we're not going to tell you who can really win in a fight like this till WrestleMania. Give you a reason.
There's multiple reasons. And Nia Jax one is pretty evident as to why she was DQ'd, to protect her and her size, her gimmick, that she's this, dominating force. That's one reason. The other reason is because they're doing the 50-50 booking crap, and they caught them and they booked themselves into a corner here where they didn't know which way to go and who they still think. That's what's so counterproductive about this way of thinking and booking, because think about it. They constantly tell us week after week, it doesn't matter who wins and loses because next week you're going to forget all about it. Well, then if that's the case, what's the point for the DQ as far as you trying to protect somebody?
Right. And then just look at how they booked Braun Strowman, which worked. So obviously, wins and losses, they know it matters. They just say that it doesn't.
I was going to say, we all think it does. I know I do.
Absolutely. And they could have, maybe they just didn't want to beat Sammy again this week because they could have easily beaten him in this match since he's, he doesn't have any real WrestleMania plans.
Another reason is the guy's a rule breaker, doesn't give a crap about the match, and it makes him look crazier, tougher, stronger, whatever you want to call it, deadlier. Like Brock Lesnar in a DQ match versus like in a match versus like Brian Kendrick, for instance. That's a great example of, okay, he doesn't have to pin him to win. He can get DQ'd in 5 seconds, but powerbomb him 39 times to Sunday and get the point over.
Yeah.
So after that, bunch of segments backstage, setting up stuff with Nia and Bayley, teasing Roman, addressing the Undertaker. Got fully getting the match set for tonight with Jinder Mahal against Roman, and then we had the New Day segment backstage with the Big Show talking about the Jetsons movie. Titus interrupts, setting up that match for later. But then,
as soon as Titus came in, I was about to change the channel. I was like, really? They're going back.
As soon as all 4 of them were on the channel when they came back, I was ready to turn the channel.
Yeah. But there was a big story out of this. Looks like Big Show versus Shaquille is canceled because Big Show's in the Battle Royal.
You don't think they'll just won't do it in the Battle Royal? Have Big Show and Shaq?
No, they did. Well, they did it last year in the Battle Royal. But no, I think they would have done the one-on-one match. That's what they had been pushing. Yeah. That's what they've been building. I mean, they did the promos between the two. So, yeah, that match is off. Which, I feel bad for the Big Show because he has been there for so long. This is his last WrestleMania under his current deal. And he's saying he's probably not, who knows where his career is going, but this is the end of his career. He was thinking this is going to be his last WrestleMania match. So, I feel kind of bad that his last WrestleMania match is in the Battle Royal.
He'll be taken care of financially, though. He'll get paid like he did wrestle Shaq. Mark my words.
Yeah.
Vince always takes care of the guys like that.
Yeah, I mean, and Show still looks really good. I mean, he doesn't look like he's near the end as some guys do.
Yeah, I don't see why they didn't do just a gimmick match with Braun, since they've got nothing for him, and have Braun retire Big Show or something like that.
Braun still got nothing for Mania?
Nope.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this tonight set up exactly what we said was going to happen. The number one contenders match: Enzo Amore and Big Cass versus Sheamus and Cesaro. Yeah, match ended with Gallows and Anderson interfering. So now instead of determining a number one contender, it's going to be a three-way match for the title at Mania.
I wish they could come up with more creative ways to set up three ways. They always do the draw, where the two people are wrestling to face the champ, and then they have a draw, double count out, and then it turns into a three-way. So I mean, we called this on Twitter before it happened. I think most people could see this coming.
What do you think of the match itself, Matt, tonight?
I got nothing. I didn't like. I mean, redundant. Yeah. It's so redundant.
Got to get something new in the tag division. Just anything, or just start putting the tag matches on main event. I
would have fast forwarded the crap out of this match if I could.
Yeah. So this was a surprise that we did get Jinder Mahal versus Roman Reigns. I mean, I really thought they were going to use that Undertaker distraction to maybe let Jinder get a pin, and then I remembered that there's no way in hell that's happening. But yeah, I mean, Jinder's looking good. It was nice to see him get something a little more high profile than usual.
Here's an opportunity where I wish he would have taken that. Was it the turban? His turban off. Is that what it's called? Yeah. Turban? I wish he would have taken that off for this. And I know that he's written to be this character, but here was an opportunity to, they always say, grab that brass ring. You got to take chances with your character. That would have been a good opportunity for him to be like, I'm ditching this. As soon as they went live, take that thing off. He's already in the ring. Stop when they come back from commercial break. Stop making a goofy face. You're shredded. You look like an athlete. You look like a thoroughbred. You don't got to wear all that crap. You don't got to be a stupid stereotypical character.
And what do we talk about now when we talk about Jinder?
How great he looks.
Yeah, his how ripped he is. So why not use that as your gimmick? Get rid of the stereotypical stuff and change your gimmick up to where how ripped you are is part of it.
I'll bet they don't even like it. I bet you they think they're so stuck in the 80s that it somehow affects, you know what I mean? That it's too distracting from the stereotype character that they want us to perceive him as.
Right, that's probably true.
Ridiculous, man. It's 2017. He's an athlete, looks like an athlete, looks tremendous. I mean, I could see he looks like an ass kicker to me. He doesn't look like he can't take it to Roman, not at all.
Right.
Well, it's interesting because he's the only one that's really doing the vein thing, right? I mean, which gives it that comic book movie extra physique.
Did you just say doing the vein thing? There's no such thing as the vein thing.
No, isn't there? Okay, so I read this because
you mean looking veiny?
No. What Hugh Jackman does, when they do the photo shoot for Wolverine, it's what is it? Something like you don't eat for 24 hours, you get dehydrated, then you have a bag of chips, and it makes your veins really pop, so you get that vascular look.
Sugar. You take sugar in generally.
Yeah.
Sodium will make you hold water. You don't want sodium. Sugar. Yeah. But everybody, it's just bottom line is he's not doing that just for that. He's doing that week in and week out and looks tremendous. That just means his body fat is super low right now. Mm-hmm. He's got, which is really impressive to be wrestling like that. It's very hard on the body. It's twice as hard on the body as it is for anyone else in that roster, just for the record.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, what I mean by the vein thing is that, he's really taking it up a notch to where I could see where it almost makes.
But it's not some crash diet. This is this is something that takes months and.
Gotcha. But no, he looks fantastic. And I think that alone should give him a little more of a push within the company. Because no one else is taking it to that level.
Yeah.
You obviously didn't see your boy on TV yet, but you'll see me.
Matt, I see you on Instagram, and I'm just like, God, you would make people uncomfortable in the WWE.
No, too late.
Hey, you're not enough because you haven't been on TV yet. You still got a few weeks.
I'm keeping it kayfabe, man. What? Matt's returning? How can that happen? It hasn't happened yet. No, man. So Roman did end up winning because Roman wins everything. And that's what it is.
He should win. He's wrestling the Undertaker at WrestleMania. He shouldn't be losing. He should beat Braun Strowman next week.
He beats everyone. I mean, it's just kind of like that's the, I
Yeah,
think the
but
problem.
that's your top guys should be. I mean,
Yeah.
their top guys should not be doing 50-50 or losing a lot of their matches.
Yeah.
Imagine if the Undertaker was losing all the time when he was coming up, or
That's
the
just-
Ultimate Warrior, or Hulk Hogan, or The Rock, or Steve Austin. And The Rock actually kind of did, but that was more politics.
Yeah.
But that's not how you push a top guy. You don't have them lose all the time.
Yeah. So after that,
Eight time. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
so Roman took the mic, talked about he's not playing around, called out the Undertaker, and instead we get HBK, who comes out to just talk about how, you know, Taker's gotten in Reigns' head and to be wary of facing him. And
How hilarious would it have been if he was plugging Gavin Stone on DVD?
oh, that would have been awesome. Absolutely awesome. I feel like HBK shows up so much. Do you guys think he's showing up so much is almost not special?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I thought for a moment, I was like, he should be just the new GM at this point. If Foley's on his way out, I mean, HBK's there all the time, it seems like. You know,
yeah, I mean, it just didn't really seem to serve much purpose. Why is he mentoring Roman Reigns all of a sudden? Like, why is he giving Roman Reigns advice? Why does he care? So it's just like a way to get him on TV and they can figure out what to do.
Yeah.
But I will say this, Roman Reigns was definitely very heelish in this promo.
Yeah.
And he's, you know, after WrestleMania, he's booked in matches with Braun Strowman. So unless they're turning Strowman face and Reigns heel, he's still staying babyface. But he definitely seemed like he was comfortable being heelish out there.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was weird that he was calling out that he's going to be the guy that retires Taker. I mean, I don't know.
That was an interesting line.
Yeah. I think we're all expecting it, but it's just weird for him to say it like that. Makes me think maybe something else will happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if it's Undertaker's last match, last Mania, it makes sense for Reigns to go over. I know Jim Ross, I was talking with him last week, and that part of that's up on the site. And he was like, man, if this is the Undertaker's last WrestleMania, they should be advertising the hell out of that. Like really making it a big point that this is his last WrestleMania.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens in less than 3 weeks to that end. So when he was making his way out, Braun Strowman came out and just hit him hard, knocked him back on the ramp off into that little alley between the ramp and the barricade there. So it seems like they're setting up, you know, like you were saying, Raj, if that's going to be the match going forward post-Mania, is going to be Braun and Reigns for a while.
Didn't they announced Roman versus Braun for next week?
Yeah, we're going to have a rematch between them.
What do you think? What do you think, Matt? Do you think Reigns should go over again, or just do a non-finish?
Well, like you said earlier, if he's it will be a non-finish. Mark my words. If it's inverse Braun, it will be a non-finish. But it's like you said earlier, if he's their top guy and they're trying to get him to go versus Taker, make it be believable, he could beat Taker. He can't be losing now. He can't. But again, it's just a guy I don't care about at all. If you notice, I haven't said anything in this entire conversation because I don't give a crap about him anymore. Not personal. It's not his fault. You know, it's just the same thing. I feel like I'm saying week after week, or you're saying the same thing. Glenn's saying the same thing. You know, I assure you fans, we try to think of different things to say, but you really can't, because they put us all as fans in this corner where everything's incredibly predictable when it comes to him.
Wasn't that what a lot of people have said about with Roman, that if you really disapprove as a crowd, say nothing, don't boo, just be stone cold silent, don't even give the reaction at that point? Because I think that by talking about it, you're saying that it makes you feel something, and that's, you know, ultimately them winning.
By the way, I'll always say this. That's a rationalization. Nobody ever says that, and I don't know why they don't call him on it. That's a rationalization when people don't want to admit that John Cena is legit being hated. You know, they're like, oh, well, he's at least eliciting a reaction, and as long as there's a reaction, that's good. No, you're selling tickets as John Cena as your good guy. Let's be very clear about this. Not as your bad guy, not as your in-between guy, but as your good guy. So don't tell me that, oh, as long as he's getting a reaction. Like, people say that when it fits. WWE says that when it fits the whatever the word is. Because I assure you, if I was out there doing my stuttering character and I was supposed to be a babyface and I was being booed, it wouldn't be doing the same thing. I'd come back and I'd be told, why don't you get any, you know, why are they booing you? What the hell's that about? Why aren't you doing your job as a babyface? You're too big. You can't sell. And you're not getting enough sympathy out there. So it's just not working out, or whatever they would say. So it's a rationalization with Roman Reigns and John Cena.
Yeah, and you'll hear Triple H also say a lot like, well, baby faces today, they're not going to get 100% cheered. Like the fans today, they half boo him and half cheer him, but that's not true either, because Daniel Bryan was universally cheered when he was out there. CM Punk. So you get the right guy, and if they connect.
Here's what happens. And it's harder for a bigger guy. You're gonna have guys that are a little bit younger than us that are there with their family. They see a big jack guy comes out, and they don't, naturally they're gonna be jealous. Say what you will. There's going to be a little bit of resentment toward that guy. There's a big, good-looking guy. He's making a ton of money. All these women are throwing themselves at him. They're getting cheers. Geez, what's not to like about this dude's life? You know what? Boo, screw you. Just because they're not happy with themselves and they're jealous. There is a level of that. I've sensed it my entire career as a babyface. But ultimately, I think Hunter's right with that to a degree. It's easier to boo someone than it is to cheer someone. It just it is, especially nowadays when we're a very, very negative society as a whole, But I just still think with the John Cena and Roman Reigns things, they're really shoehorning that rationalization home a little too much.
Yeah. So one thing that people genuinely seemed excited for tonight was Austin Aries back in the ring against Ari Daivari, and what did you think of that match, man?
I want Austin wrestling bigger matches. I want him, against I don't want to say normal guys, but non-cruiserweights. I want him doing his thing. He did his thing tonight, but I just thought, perception is reality. I'll always keep saying that, right? And Arya is a friend. I think the world of him. But Austin Aries' first match, if they're gonna have something big, he should be doing something against somebody big. And going into Mania versus what's his name, King of the Cruiserweights. That's going to be an exciting match. I still think Aries is above that. I do.
I kind of agree with that too. Especially, you see how the fans react to him, and they react to him like more than other guys on the main roster, much less the cruiserweight. So
he's a star.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. I think it's giving him a ceiling by keeping him with the cruiserweights, but there are arguments that he elevates the division by being in there. But yeah, there's not that many guys that I think can go toe-to-toe with him and really put on a great show. Okay, so after that, Big Show versus Titus O'Neil. What really needs to be said about this match?
I went to the bathroom. That's what needs to be said.
No, that's in and of itself enough commentary. So after that,
Big Show got the win.
Yeah, Big Show did get the win. If Titus had won that, wonder what alternate universe we were living in. Okay, so after that, we got the teaser for next week. That Jericho's gonna be doing a highlight reel next week on Kevin Owens. That should be interesting. Build the story a little bit more. But then we had Bayley versus Nia Jax. I mean, I thought this was interesting that ended in DQ. They made it out so much like, oh, what's Bayley going to do against Nia Jax? When, on Twitter, people were saying, well, Bayley beat Nia Jax in NXT, but of course we don't really reference NXT because then they can't repeat the same storylines again if they did that. But what did you think of the match up to the DQ finish, man?
The most important part of that match was that finish where Nia Jax should have had it in fifth gear with the shoulder blocks in the corner. The what else was she doing to her in the Tree of Woe when she had her and she did this? She did like a half-assed knee lift. She hardly got her foot off the ground, hardly need her. When you're about to be DQ'd and that's the finish, you've got to, I don't care how gassed or blowed up you are, you've got to crank it up big time and make it look like you're this friggin' relentless pit bull that is being, pulled off this, this car tire by its owner, a la the referee. And that is not what that visual was. It was a blowed up, heavy-set woman wearing a Power Ranger outfit, gassed to the gills to a degree, and not intense whatsoever in her delivery to get DQ'd. If I was I'm going, why is he DQing her? She's taking her sweet ass time in between these moves, I know there's supposed to be a 5 count, but in every other match they give them that 5 count, and the referee will get in and stop it on his own accord. Because the intensity isn't that high, and that intensity wasn't high. It didn't need to happen, and it looked like crap.
Yeah, it seemed they were reaching for that finish. So I guess this means Nia's probably getting added to that WrestleMania match. She was in there to begin with, but last week they announced a 3-way. But obviously it looks like she's headed for that match. So there you go. Nia's on the WrestleMania card.
So if you've been hearing us talk about this and saying, oh man, this Raw sounds pretty mixed, maybe kind of a little blah, wait till we get to that last segment, which we're going to in a moment after we thank the sponsor of this episode, DDP Yoga. Heard us talk about Chris Jericho before. Chris Jericho has said he is in the best shape of his career. And who does he credit for it? DDP Yoga, DDPY. It's changed countless lives. Guys like Jake Roberts, Scott Hall, Mick Foley, Gold Dust. And if you've been thinking about getting started with it, we've got a deal for you right now. You can get 3 months of full access to the you can get the DDPY DVDs for 25% off, and that includes 3 months of full access to the DDP Yoga Now app. Or if you're digital only, you can just get the DDP Yoga Now app for 25% off. Also have a deal where you can get a max or a combo pack at 25% off and get 50% off the second one. March is almost over, folks. If you've been on the fence and thinking about starting DDPY, now is the time to get on board. Head on over to ddpyoga.com/wrestlinginc. Stop procrastinating. Get started now. And we congratulate Diamond Dallas Page as being part of the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2017. That's DDP Yoga.
And just take a look at Mick Foley. Look at him tonight, and just how much weight that dude has lost over the last couple of years. It's amazing. Yeah,
I mean, it's really incredible just seeing these transformations. And, I see it all the time. I see it on Reddit. I see it on Twitter, people talking about it. I mean, this is no joke. It's if you do the work and you follow the system, it's very, very easy and attainable to get in shape, improve your flexibility, and improve your body.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this last segment. Mick Foley comes out, said he's thought, to Stephanie, hey, I've thought about who to fire, and it's you. You are the one who is ruining Monday Night Raw. Crowd definitely seemed on his side in all of that. Triple H comes out to defend. Stephanie gets into it with Mick, is threatening, the livelihood of Mick's children, both his daughter Noelle, who I guess in kayfabe still wants to be a WWE wrestler, even though the Holy Foley made it seem like maybe that's not happening. But his son Dewey, who is working for WWE in Stamford, and Triple H threatening that. Mick busts out with sock right in Triple H's mouth, and then after this back and forth, Mick gets beat down. Out comes Seth Rollins to the rescue with a crutch, coming out there, and at first really selling the injury, but then looking like he's doing a lot better with that knee than a lot of us predicted. Triple H taking some shots at the knee and ending the show, setting them up for that showdown at Mania. So we'll talk about what's real versus what's not as far as Seth's injury in a moment. But Matt, what did you think about that whole storytelling that they were doing there with that segment?
It was good parts to it, I think. And I know we get on her a lot about Stephanie, emasculating Mick and pretty much everybody else. But I'm sorry, until somebody proves me differently, she's still the best heel on that show. Her facials to her voice to everything. Did you see the part when Hunter was like, Mick, Stephanie's a fan of yours. She's the one who wants you here. She's entertained by you.
Yeah.
She's just going.
Yeah. Her face was great.
Awesome. Like, she's so darn good, but can't make money off of her, can we? Because she doesn't wrestle. But nonetheless, she's so good. I thought it was good, the whole segment. I don't know if I thought it was as good as you guys do, but I want to say it served its purpose. At least let us know that, in my opinion, Seth is not that hurt. He took a legitimate crutch shot to that damn injured knee. If that really is his injured knee, I'm hoping it is. And trust me, if your knee's banged up, you're not taking that shot. You're not coming anywhere near it.
Yeah.
But Seth got that pop finally, didn't he?
Yeah.
And it's been what, like a month since he got injured. So, he was looking much better. I was almost wondering if they were building to Finn Balor's return, and like Finn Balor was going to come out and then change the match to Balor versus Triple H just because like Seth's knee wasn't ready to go, but they didn't do that. So it's looking like that's going to be the match. I mean, they're really pushing it hard. They got the main event segment on the show, so they've got to do. I think they got to do more than just a call out or whatever they were referring to it. A few weeks ago. It's got to be an actual match. So, and he was looking pretty good in there. So, I'm sure he'll be able to go in what we got 3 weeks, pretty much.
Are there ads out yet? Are there like Ring Truck and then like the ad last year that had Charlotte in the middle? Is that WrestleMania ad out yet?
Yeah. The poster is out and Rollins is on it. Yeah, they're both on it.
Well, there you go. That's all that matters.
And no Finn Balor. So.
So it doesn't matter.
Let me double check. Let me double check if Finn Balor's on there. But
do you hear what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if Hunter has a match or not. If it's a street fight, it's a call out. It doesn't matter. The ticket draws that he's on there, and they're advertising him to,
Right.
People driving by don't know what that means. They don't know if he's being called out, having a street fight, having a real match. They just see Hunter on it.
But Raj, your point is very good with this, where, but it's saying that Balor did the Madison Square Garden show over the weekend, so Balor can wrestle. So if there was any doubt that Rollins wasn't cleared or if it was iffy, I mean, they had a viable babyface they could put in there that would have gotten as big a pop, if not bigger, running in tonight. So I mean, they want Rollins in this spot, right?
They wrote it this way. Yes, they did.
Yeah, I mean, the plan from the beginning was Rollins and Triple H. The plan for last year's WrestleMania was Rollins and Triple H for a while until Rollins got injured. So it's definitely the match they want to do. It's he's able to, and it's looking like he is. So
I wonder about it. I was talking with Raj before the show. It's like, how long until they try and do a work around an injury to this length? You know what I mean? I'm not saying that Rollins wasn't injured, but it seemed odd that they built it up so much that tonight everyone was shocked when he showed up alone, when he threw the crutch down and started going at it. I mean, the way they've sold this and played this has made it seem, even we've been talking about the behind the scenes, like, oh, it's really iffy if something's going to happen in Mania. Tonight that didn't seem iffy. That seemed like, he's good to go.
Physically, sure. He definitely did. But trust me, the build up to Mania with I don't know, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, they take that very seriously, and they're not going to just make a fake injury up and assume he's going to be over when he comes back.
Yeah.
Especially the way Seth at the time was not as over, if you remember. He wasn't getting those big babyface reactions. So that was they definitely would not have been confident enough to take that risk with him, especially.
Plus, they would have done something between Triple H and Seth. Triple H injuring Seth, not a weird spot with Samoa Joe. That was accidental.
I could see that. Although my conspiracy theory part goes, aha, remember when Rollins came back from his last injury and was treated like a babyface and they squandered that? So what better way than to get it back than with another injury angle? But either way, I was stoked about that segment tonight. I thought that was a great way to end the show. And it absolutely, I mean, just they played myself and many other members of the audience like a fiddle with making it seem so hopeless. So Stephanie McMahon, Mick Foley's this broken down old man. Who is going to save us from this terrible authority ruining Monday Night Raw? And then Seth comes in and it was just, I mean, it was great. It was great TV.
So I guess Foley's probably back one more week then, like to get officially fired next week, because they didn't really put the kibosh on him this week, even though it led to that, but you didn't get the you're fired or anything.
Yeah, I think they're going to want one last chance to emasculate Mick Foley in this current run.
Right.
And then what do we think? We're thinking Angle? We thinking it's going to be Kurt Angle?
I was thinking that tonight, actually. I was thinking it was going to be him coming out, but
yeah. That also
I just thought he'd be fired and it'd be announced that Kurt is the new GM. That's all I thought happening tonight.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I want to see Kurt emasculated every week by Stephanie.
Won't happen.
I hope not.
It will not happen.
I hope not.
Two different methods of who Vince. I'm not going to say anything to bury anybody, but Vince has two different frames of mind with those two different talents.
Yeah.
Well, we shall see. So overall, final thoughts on tonight's Raw, Mr. Matt Morgan.
I give it because we're this close to Mania, D+.
Raj?
I'd give it a C just because I thought the last segment was good. Maybe a C+. And I liked Roman Reigns being a prick with Shawn Michaels. I thought that was pretty good. But other than that, none of the matches I thought were. Owens and Sammy and Jericho. That was good.
That was really good.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. 2 more Raws till Mania. Then it's all going down.
Yeah, it's coming up quick.
Yeah. So they announced Raj, who's getting the Warrior Award this year. Do you have the story on Wrestling Inc.?
Yeah. Are you familiar with this guy, Matt? That's getting the Warrior Award.
Just the topical part of it, just the very surface of it. When it was with a football player.
Yeah.
Eric LeGrand.
I feel like such a heel. Yeah, Eric LeGrand. That award doesn't really, except for when what's his name, the Crusher won it. That was adorable. That was great. That was inspiring.
Well, he was the Crusher. You know, he was someone that had an effect on people backstage.
Yeah.
He there was more of a wrestling connection. There seems like the last year there was none at all. This year there's no connection at all. I think that's the first time his name has been said on WWE TV.
What do you think Joan London has her warrior statue? Really? What do you think that is? I'm just being honest. Like, do people at home really think that thing's sitting on her mantle? Come on.
Right. I mean, you know what? Like, what Ultimate Warrior said in his speech. I don't know if you remember, but in his Hall of Fame speech, the whole thing that he said that they based this award on was having a award for the people that are backstage, that are behind the scenes, that don't get credit. So it's like for the technicians and the ring crew and guys like that, Jim Johnson and the music guys, and I think that would be a very interesting award to have to present it. Guys like Pat Patterson, even though he is a Hall of Famer, but all the work that he's done behind the scenes and guys like that.
That doesn't get clicks. That won't get clicks on your site. It won't. More importantly for WWE, it don't get views on their TV screen or on their network or people tuning in and coming to the Hall of Fame to see these people get inducted. Although I don't think Joan London is either, but I digress. They think there's a crossover media opportunity there. There's no question about it. With people like a Joan London and even Eric LeGrand to a degree, he will get ESPN coverage and things like that. And that's what it always is about, is that damn crossover stuff, instead of just saying, like what you said, I'd like to see a stagehand get it. I'd like to see the pyro guy get it. I'd like to see, Richie and Magic get it. That dude does everything for them. From the boxes that you'd see like Undertaker come out of, to the coffins, to all the theatrical stuff. That dude was always on top of everything.
Yeah, you know how at the Oscars they have like a 5-minute segment where they hand out like 10 awards for technicians and stuff. But if you did something like that every year where you got like 5 guys, you do it quick, and at least they get noticed. I think that would be something. Like Jim Johnson is someone that should be in the Hall of Fame. He did all the wrestlers' themes for decades. They're awesome. So
there's still a way to make them look. What's the word?
Philanthropic.
Yes, thank you.
Philanthropic.
Yes. That word is a good opportunity to make them look like that.
Yeah.
They got to do it with Jim one year at Mania. Just let Jim, give him the budget to assemble a band and just do an evening of Jim Johnston WWE themes performed live in concert. Like, I would go to that. I would pay good money for that.
I'm sure you would. I know you would.
That would be awesome, dude. Come on. Like, just in concert.
That would be cool. He's playing Demolition.
Yeah.
Look,
did you know there's like a popular touring act that goes around and does video game music? Like, they play The Legend of Zelda. Like, and they sell out concert halls playing like Super Mario Brothers and Zelda and Tetris themes, with an orchestra. So you tell me
what they all have in common? Guess what? Every single one of them have in common. Not a single one of those goers has seen vagina since vaginas had them. I don't want to hang out with them. How about that?
All right, real quick, guys. One thing, Jack Swagger, he was released this week from WWE. He had requested his release, went public with that. WWE sent us a letter saying he might have requested his release, but he didn't get it. And if he gets it, he has a 90-day non-compete. So he had booked an appearance for Paige's dad. I don't know if he thought maybe his non-compete was only in the US, because non-competes have been around for forever. So
you can work indies, though. I don't understand. Is her dad's TV? Is it TV there?
It's TV, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
In Norwich.
Yeah, that's competing.
But even then, can you do independents while you're under the 90 days?
Yes. As long as it doesn't go to DVD. Back when I was, released, there was DVD sales and things like that. So I couldn't be on a DVD, but I could wrestle, at some nights of Columbus Hall, as long as it wasn't being sold on tape somewhere.
Because I remember Cody Rhodes, because he had that list, and he could not do that, start it until he was fully out from their non-compete. So I wonder if his was a little different, or
Well, Ring of Honor, he was doing New Japan. Those were all televised shows.
Right, but that was after the non-compete. So he had this he posted this list that he was going to start doing, and a lot of non-televised indies, but he had to wait till that date. I think it was last August. And so once August came, then he started doing them. So
I mean, it's self-explanatory. Yeah, maybe it's different, but non-compete is non-compete.
Right.
Anything that has to do with any type of TV, that's what it is. And I don't know why he wouldn't be able to wrestle at a nice Columbus in front of 50 people if nobody's televising it.
Right. Yeah, that makes no sense.
That's not their competition.
Right. So yeah, Swagger. Yeah. Thoughts? Either of you guys? I mean, he's a big dude.
How old is he?
I think he's like 33.
33?
Yeah.
I mean, I was entertained by him back when he was, he's a former heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
He was. I thought he was a guy that they kind of got him there pretty early. If you remember, they gave him that push kind of early. Very good on ECW. They matured him into a good top guy, in my opinion, as far as wrestling in the ring goes when he got to SmackDown. But then they kind of stopped the process of evolving him as far as getting him better opponents and getting him to work with better talent so he could continue that improvement on a main event level, I mean.
Yeah.
It's because, again, perception is reality. If he's wrestling a bunch of nobodies all of a sudden out of left field, what's he supposed to do with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about this, Raj. So is it true Adam Rose is retiring?
That's what he said. He says this will be his last year in the business. I mean, he's been wrestling since 1995.
What?
Yeah. Like in
South Africa.
Yeah, South Africa. So he's been around forever before getting his break. And yeah, so he's been wrestling as Kruger lately.
1995.
Yeah.
I was a senior in high school, and I'm old. What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane. He started wrestling when he was 15. So he was. So I think he's younger than you.
He's 37.
He can't be younger than me.
Yeah, he was 15 when he started. So 15 in 95, and
15.
Born in 79. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it was a lot older.
What's your take on this, Raj?
Rusev. Sorry. I was saying Rusev also just had shoulder surgery, so he's out, which is why he had been booked the way he was the last few weeks.
So Adam Rose got released after he had some, domestic issues last year. Went on the indie scene immediately as Aldo Rose. Got in some trouble, I think, for putting out his mugshot as a T-shirt he was selling on Pro Wrestling Tees for said domestic violence incident. And I feel like we haven't heard much about him since then, except now this retirement announcement. Do you think it's just the bookings weren't there?
I don't know, but and I don't know the guy from Adam, get it? But I encourage you all I got to know a little bit more about him listening. I hate to give him props, but Vince Russo's podcast, he interviewed him, and not because of Vince's interviewing skills, of course, but because of, no, I'm joking. He did a good job though with Adam Rose of getting to know what happened with that situation.
Yeah,
and you'll see it wasn't really black and white as to what it was being pushed out as to the media. I'm not saying what he did was great, but it wasn't really as bad as what we were all led to believe as well. And I just hate to see a guy leave the business, and we're talking about that still versus, hey, he had a really good opportunity to come in. They give him this outlandish, over-the-top character, and then they dropped the ball with him. He didn't. They did.
Yeah.
They made him change his character, change his hair, change his facial features, change his physique even, because he used to be jacked as Leo Kruger. And all of a sudden, he got kind of the party guy body, and it worked for his character. And they had this cool entrance, all this stuff. I just think it's important when a guy goes out, you don't just crap. I'm not saying you guys are, but the thumbprint be, oh, this is a guy who got arrested and made T-shirts and about him being arrested.
Oh yeah. No, I would say, what was it, the ESPN thing they did on NXT? I mean, I think talking about his family situation and all the hardships.
Oh yeah, he was the biggest baby face. That's all if they just showed that on WWE TV. Yeah. That piece that they did, that's more than all that money they put in with the rosebuds and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's fantastic, and I still think it can be done. Just someone's got to get a clue to know how to tell that story.
But that's good though, Matt. Thanks for telling me that he's on Vince Russo's podcast. I'll definitely listen to that. I think it's weird that. And I think it was the misstep. I think maybe he got some blowback from doing that T-shirt thing, that maybe took some of that goodwill, and people were kind of like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. But yeah, I feel like I haven't read anything about him now in, probably six to 10 months, except that now he's announced that this is his last year and he's going to be retiring.
To wrestling fans, you fall off the earth if you're not wrestling on TV.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
What percentage do you think does your money drop each year you're on the indies once you've gotten off of TV? I mean, it's pretty significant, right?
Yeah, I would say it depends if you can get Japanese bookings. You know, overseas pays really well.
Yeah.
Oh, at least I thought it did. But here domestically, you kind of go through the whole former WWE superstar Matt Morgan crap. A year or 2 years as far as you make it top money. And then, but by then you better have a plan set in place to go somewhere else, and you cannot rely on indies here in the States, unfortunately. Maybe now it's different, but when I was doing it, no, I hardly did any. If you go back and look, I did most of my stuff overseas.
Yeah. So I just wonder, I mean, because I'm guessing someone like a Ryback or a Cody Rhodes probably has a little more longevity than probably a Jack Swagger, but it's not that long if you're not on TV regularly. You know,
I think it all falls on the same deaf ears. After a year or two, you fall off. You're not on TV. To these fans, I hate to say it, it's true. You fall off the face of the earth.
Well, and Matt, you had the benefit. I mean, being or even Cody Rhodes, guys that had their name, right? I mean, so you didn't have to worry about like, known as Jack Swagger in the WWE. Like that complicates it a lot when promoting shows, I would think.
Yeah.
Now the indies will. I noticed they'll still use their names a lot of times, but or they use the former Jack Swagger.
Yeah. Until you get that cease and desist, That's funny that they sent you a letter though, Raj, clarifying the Jack Swagger situation, because everything in the build up to it made it seem like it was going to be just a really graceful exit, totally on good terms. But
not a letter, an email. No one sends that. That'll be a whole story by the time I get it. But
something from the teletype, perhaps.
Yeah. No, they do that all the time. So I mean, which is good. I like it. They clarify stuff, and we keep an open channel. So, yeah. I think we lost Glenn, but I don't know. There he's back, but
all right.
That's it for this week.
No, it's like cheap plug time. Folks, go out to your Publix, local shopping center, like food stores, any type of food grocery stores, Barnes & Nobles. Get the March issue of Flex. That's this month right now. It's probably backwards on camera. I hope it's not. No. Featuring your boy, the Blueprint, Matt Morgan, or as they're calling me in the article, Goliath, because they're calling me the world's largest men's physique competitor ever.
Wow.
And so it's a cool story. It's a little bit dated because they did it before I made my comeback to wrestling. So it's talking about me basically changing my physique from being pro wrestler Matt Morgan into trying to be a pretty boy with these little midgets going up there and trying to have like abs and super slender waist and compete with these genetic freaks as far as just no fat on the body goes. It's insane. But it's fun, and I'm still planning on doing it. I'm competing in a show in July, and I'm going to do that and wrestle.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah. So go get that Flex magazine.
Flex magazine. What month is the issue?
March.
The March issue.
Month. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Yeah, definitely check that out. And myself, Glenn, and Court Bauer, former WWE producer Court Bauer, will be on this Wednesday. So make sure to check us out at noon Eastern.
Yeah. Be back here to talk about SmackDown Live and see how they do tomorrow night in the build up to WrestleMania. See if it's any better. Cool, guys. So, Matt, great seeing you. We'll see you back here next Monday. And Raj, I'll see you on Wednesday. So until next time, everyone, you can find where to follow us on Twitter, on the show notes on WrestlingInc.com. Subscribe on YouTube and iTunes. Leave us a review. And until next time, I'm Glenn Rubenstein. We'll see you back here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.
Matt?
New sign off. New sign off. New sign off.
Oh.
New sign off. New sign off.
We're going attitude era.